Hello everybody, I am Natalie Montoya and I am here today to talk about some videos we watched. It's a series called Speak and Inspire by Lisa Nichols. Okay, why am I here? What am I doing here? And why am I talking about this? The reason is simple. I am a student of modern languages and last Sunday we had an intermediate meeting and I wasn't able to be a participant of this because I have to work. So, in order to compensate this, they asked us to record a video of 20 minutes, which is such a long time. Of course, it's not easy for me. I don't have a lot of experience in talking for 20 minutes, but I'm going to be here trying my best. So, I decided to talk about three things today. So, the first thing is going to be myself. I'm going to be telling you about who I am, where I live, why I'm studying what I am studying, and some other things. The second thing we are going to talk about is about the videos we were asked to watch. I also going to be talking a little bit more about Lisa Nichols and the things that we learned in these videos. And the third thing I'm going to talk about is about an important story that I think is going to touch many people's hearts. Actually, I already did. It's an important story of my life, and many people were involved with this, so I consider that based on Lisa's videos, it's like a nice subject to tell you a little bit more. It is a huge challenge, of course, for me to talk for 20 minutes. I don't think I'm going to be able to do it because even if the videos were very good, I don't think they are enough to discuss 20 minutes. And as I am already doing, probably I'm going to need to be filling this space with other subjects that are not connected with the videos we watched. But what I can promise is that I'm going to try my best. First, so I'm going to talk a little bit about myself. So as I mentioned before, I am Natalie Montoya Gomez. I am a student of modern languages. And in this moment, I'm taking a class. The name of the class is Business English Deeping. It's a very interesting class because in this class we are learning how to talk in a more appropriate way, to be able to communicate with other people. And the most important thing, we are getting our preparation to take IELTS test. I am actually living here in the US, and currently I have the experience to improve my English every single day. This is the second time I live in this country. I'm probably not as young as my other classmates. I am 35 years old, and 10 years ago I lived here for the first time. I think during those 2 years my English went from here to here. It improved a lot. And now day to day I have the chance to practice. Also, I am very lucky because I get to do what I love the most, that is teaching. I am a teacher and I teach Spanish as a foreign language. I work part-time with this job. I have my own students that I found online and that I found here in the city where I live, which is New York City. And with them, even though I have to speak Spanish almost all the time, I also get to learn a lot about English language. I decided to take more languages because my first degree was in a completely different subject. I was a dentist before, but I guess this is very common nowadays that you decide to study something, but it's not really what makes you happy. So even if I went to a good university and I tried to get a job, I decided that that's not what I love to do. After that, I just started teaching in a very informal way, but since I began to teach, I decided to take many classes in order to become a good teacher. Not a good teacher, actually the best teacher. And I think I am in a good path getting there. I have been teaching Spanish for the last 7 years of my life. I consider myself a very good teacher because I have many successful stories with my students, and that's what I love to do. In modern languages, I decided to take this class because I would like to be more professional with what I do. And also, in the future, I see myself being a translator. Second, we are going to talk about Lisa's videos, Speak and Inspire. Lisa is a woman who you can tell when you start watching her videos that is very, she's an extrovert. It looks like it's very easy for her to stand up in front of the camera like I am doing right now and yes, communicate with her movement, with her expression, what she wants to say. Also, you can tell that she has a clear intention of inspiring. That's why I guess they decided to give the name of Speak and Inspire, because you can tell that's what she's trying to do with this series of videos. We are going to talk about the things that I learned and the things that she said, and also about my opinion after I explain a little bit more of the videos we watched. Who is Lisa Nichols? So I was researching about her online, and it looks like she's a very famous and interesting person in the motivational world. She was born in 1966, so that means that she's 53, 54 years old, and she was born in Los Angeles, California. She was the founder of Motivated Mazes, which is a company that has inspired over 30 million people to create, to live better with themselves. So let's see what we can learn about all her speech. Formulate your words to create value. So the first video of this series is talking about how to formulate your words so you can create value, as the name says. And Lisa in this video a question about something very, very important that I think it was like the most motivating thing for me. Are you speaking to be heard, or are you speaking to enroll? What does she mean? So if are you speaking to be heard, it's like a situation where you are speaking just trying people to agree with you. Like you don't want people to question themselves, you don't want people to formulate questions. It's just you want to be more in positive, you want to set a point. On the other hand, if you are speaking to enroll, this is more like a speech where you are trying to motivate, where you are trying to use your words in order people to feel inspired to act in a better way. So what do you think would be more valuable? Also, she was asking about how do you want to use your voice to create value? Like, how do you want people to feel after they listen to you? How do you feel? How do you want people to get inspired by your words? She was talking about using your words in a correct way where people can feel motivated and can feel identified. I think that's an important thing to keep in mind. People, they are always trying to find something to identify with you. So are you using your speech to be heard, or are you speaking just to enroll and to motivate and to be an example to follow? I think we can all agree the speak to enroll will cause like a bigger impact. Let's talk about the power of well-intentioned words. These words could inspire new thoughts. They could also inspire the listener to be a better people. Of course, if you are talking in front of 10 people, 1,000 people, I guess with your speech, you want them to leave the place being better than what they were before because of your words. Are you creating also a form of action? Are you motivating these people to act, to behave in a different way, and adding value to the simple things we do every day? I think many people nowadays, they are very busy, and sometimes we take things for granted. So Lisa, with her speech, is trying to see how important, like in one of her videos, for example, she was talking about saying thank you to yourself, forgiving yourself, And those are things that sometimes, as I say, we took for granted and we don't realize how important it's just to live and to work every day and to fight for your dreams. Be authentic in your voice. So Lisa was talking a lot about authenticity, and I think I completely agree with her. There is nothing more interesting than when you see a person that could be really authentic in the way they talk, in the way they move, in the way they behave. I think it's very common, unfortunately, that because of our jobs or because of our daily life, we have to play a role, and sometimes we even forget to yes to remember who we really are. So she considers that it's very, very important. It's like a very important key to in order to be successful, to be authentic. Um, for example, she was saying that it's very important to align the person you are showing to the people with the person you are when no one is looking. Will you talk the same way? Will you move the same way if you are at home alone in front of the mirror? Or will you act in a different way if you are standing up in front of 10,000 people? This is a skill that you have to work to get in order to get. It's not just like, okay, I'm going to stand up here today and I'm going to be super authentic with everybody. It's not that easy. It's something you have to work every day so you can show who you really are. I also consider this is an important key to be successful because, as Lisa mentioned, we all have a lot of things to give. It's just that we are scared to show who we really are. Are you providing? Are you protecting? Are you defending? Or are you hiding? When we talk, I think we usually take like a position where we are defending our thoughts or we are protecting to show who we really are, or we are proving who we are. And sometimes it doesn't get aligned with what we really want to say. So that's something that I kept here and that I keep thinking about. Are you proving? Are you protecting? Are you defending? Or are you hiding? Put some skin in. This is a phrase that I would like to talk about here because yes, she even used a funny example where she was showing her shoulder and she was saying like put some skin in. I think everybody, like for example in my case, in many situations I need to let my skin out because maybe it's not the right environment to show my tattoos. But I always find that those moments is what I'm hiding who I really are. That for me it's not natural. It's not natural. I don't look very authentic when I am not putting my skin in. Being able to give transparency is a journey that takes time and courage. Yes, I consider that it's not easy just to show who you really are to everybody. I always in my personal life, for example, I say the closest people, the people that I really love, will get to see who I really am. But also, I know I am certain that when I get to open myself, eh, I get better relationships with the people around me, and I get to make a lot of friends. The essence of a story. Lisa was talking about how valuable is to have a good story to tell. She said this phrase, stories connect hearts and elevate the experience. And I couldn't agree more. She was talking about how the important thing in an event is always the story behind. She used as an example when a person is receiving a prize or mention, the important thing is not just the fact that the person is going to receive the prize. What is more exciting and what connects people is the story the person tells when they are receiving the prize, for example. Creating a story is, of course, complicated if you don't have a lot of experience telling stories. So Lisa recommended some steps in order to be able to tell a good story that people could enjoy. So the first one is to talk about an incident that it was important for you, and also break like the key points of that incident. Lisa called these the bullets. So the bullets is referring about the main ideas about the list of things that happened. Also, she says that you have to choose a story if you want to people to get to relate with this story. They will leave your listening feeling inspired, motivated to act different, to change their lives. The second step is authenticity. She was talking about this before, we were talking about this before, and it doesn't matter if it's not a happy story. I think we all have sad or hard stories in our lives. So even if the story is not a happy story, many people are going to feel identified with this. What is important, I think, is in the same story include like the happy ending. I will say the happy ending because maybe not all the stories have a happy ending, but I guess all experience we lived, they leave just like a teaching. They leave something we can learn of them. And number three, so we will have the most inspiring story. As I say, even if it's not a happy story, even if it's like a situation that was hard in our life before, try to find a story that will leave the listener touched and motivated to act. A story that the listener can remember and can talk about. And also a story that hopefully is going to help the person to become a better person that they were before listening to you. The power of body language. Lisa was talking about how important is to be able to show a story, not only to tell a story. She was saying that in her opinion, when you limited your movement, the movement of your hands, the movement of your head, you are decreasing the impact of your story even in 70%. She also says that when we are showing a story instead of telling a story, it's more like we are giving all of ours to our public, to our audience, and that way, this is going to be reciprocal. They are going to give all of themselves to you because they are going to be connected with what you are telling. Experience joy through your movement and transmit it. Like if you act in a way you are very shy, you are not moving your hands, you are not smiling when you say you are smiling, people are not going to feel connected with what you are feeling. So if you are talking in a happy way where you show that you want to be there, people are going to connect with this. Also, I think it's very, very important not to limit our hands. Me, in my experience, I am a person that every time I am working, when I am teaching, I always explaining. Like I always kind of like if I'm talking, let's say about a timeline, I will express the timeline with my hands. I will talk about the now, doing this. So when she used the example of be like a musician with your hands, I think this was something that I kind of feel identified with because when I see myself teaching, it's like an orchestra where I am always moving. Um, so communication is a full body sport. I think, as Lisa said before, this is something we have to work on this every single day to practice in order to be very good communicators. Lisa's speech was very interesting. For me, there are several things that I learned and several opinions I have about this video. So the first one is definitely the fact that Lisa is an American woman. I think her speech is very connected and very aligned with her nationality. Having the experience of living here in the US, I can tell you that mostly all Americans that are similar to her age are very extrovert people. They are usually very loud. It's easy for them to talk in a way where they are more open, where they have more expression with their hands. I could even say that they like to be noticed. So the kind of personality Lisa has is familiar with what I experience every single day. I'm not a big fan of motivational speeches because I found them very generic. I think we are all very different, but I am kind of grateful for being a little bit pushed to watch these videos because, as I say at the beginning of my introduction, there is always something to learn, and learning new things every day is something that I really enjoy. So I definitely can get many important things for my life after today, after watching those videos that I'm going to be applying for sure. The third part of this video is that I want to share with you a short story. It's a story that completely changed my life, and I think back then when this happened was like a motivation for many people to act. I always has been an animal lover. I love dogs, but I respect life in every single kind. I wouldn't even kill a cockroach. But I feel an important connection with dogs, and I always consider myself as a person who likes to act. 5 years ago, I was at home and I was losing my time just watching Facebook, not paying a lot of attention to what I was watching. And suddenly I saw the story of a dog who was attacked by another dog. This dog was in a very bad condition, like he wasn't doing well, he was going probably to die. And I don't know, something very strange happened. When I saw this dog, I knew that I needed to do something, that I needed to act. This wasn't my first time being involved with the rescue of a dog. Actually, I have rescued more than 100 dogs in my life, but my connection with him was special. I started visiting the dog, taking food for him, petting him, like going just to spend 30 minutes every day with him. And I wanted to adopt him, but it wasn't possible because this was a very delicate dog. So I talked to the person who rescued him, and I told that person, if you feel that at some point the dog is going to be better with me, I would like to adopt him. 2 months after, this person called me and told me, Natalie, we think the dog is ready. He already went through some surgeries. As I said before, the right leg was cut, and the second leg, the other leg in the front, was broken in pieces. So he was in the process of getting many surgeries, and she told me, if you feel you are ready, maybe you can get this dog. So I was a little bit scared. I already have 2 other dogs, but I knew that was my function in life. It was kind of like, just like something that I knew I needed to go through. So I made the decision with my husband, and we took him home. His name is Theo. When Theo got home, he was very sick. I will leave here some of the videos of how bad he was doing. But his eyes were telling me that he wanted to live.
Venga pues mi amor, venga, eso mi amor.
After visiting the vet, they say that they were going to need to amputate the other leg. This was devastating for me, but like I am very respectful of life, but I think I'm not naive, or I am not like stubborn. So I thought having to live without 2 legs is very complicated. So I decided to find another vet, and this vet was a lot better. He was a professional orthopedist, and he recommended me to try to save this dog's life. To make the long story short, Theo went through 9 surgeries. He went through a year of physiotherapy. But today, one of my biggest achievements is that he can run, and he's like a normal dog. 5 years has spent after that moment, and I am here, very happy. I brought my dog to the US, and he's living here with me a great life.